everyone, good day. Today we're going to talk about theater production, space, and design. But before we start, let me first read the learning outcomes. So at the end of the lesson, the students can identify the elements of theater space and design. Second, analyze the importance of theater space and design and create a plan outline for a theater play. Theater production, as you know, is a space and design. It encompasses the physical environment, including the stage, the audience area, and overall atmosphere of the theater, which, as we all know, significantly impacts the audience's experience and the production's overall outcome. Okay, so now we have here the elements of theater space and design. First, we have design a functioning auditorium according to the type of performance and the number of audience. So it is a part of the theater accommodating the audience during the performance, sometimes known as the house. So this house is the area that what most of us know as the backstage area, where the actors and the performers prepare themselves. So the amount of space required for each auditorium depends on several factors, but the following guides based on modern based on modern setting design can give you an idea of the area needed. So these are all the areas, the number of seats, and the measurement. So by the way, an auditorium includes the lobby, the ticket counter, and the restroom, and etc. Second, keep the standard distance for a comfortable audience sitting. So the aisle is the space for walking with rows of seats on both sides or with rows of seats on one side and a wall on the other. So there are usually two types of aisle arrangements. So um, this this aisle are used these aisles are used to improve the safety of the performers. For example, in theater plays, there are times when lights are off and the room is dimly lit. No, the edges of those aisles are marked with a row of small lights to ensure that everything and everyone walks fine. There are two types of aisle arrangements. First, we have the multiple aisle arrangement and the continental seating plan. So the continental seating plan usually consists of 40 to 16 chairs per row with access to an aisleway at both ends. If the aisle can only be reached from one end of the row, the seat count may then be limited to 7 or 8. I am so sorry about this. Wrong. Anyway, this continental seating plan is a seating arrangement where the aisles are located only at the ends of the seating area and has no central aisle. So this is usually used in small venues such as cinemas, things like that. Now we have the multiple aisle arrangement. It can accommodate more seating within the same space. Usually, it requires an average of 5 square feet per person, including the seating area and the space for aisleways. So, an aisle has this aisle is a seating arrangement featuring multiple aisles that divides the seating area. As you can see, this in the picture we have 5 aisles. So this aisle separates like it has a section or blocks. this arrangement provides easier access to seats, giving the audience better view or visibility to the performance, and safety because it offers safety because it has multiple exit routes. Now we have the stage is important. We have to choose wisely. So the stage is this designated space where actors and other artists perform in the focal point for the audience. The stage may consist of a platform or series of platforms. The stage is often a permanent feature. Stage is often a permanent feature. So obviously, the stage is where the artists and performers needs, as we know, artists and performers needs a spacious area where they can showcase their skills, and that is the stage. Every different performers needs a suitable stage, and choosing the right stage would increase the impact of their performance. So we have several types of stages that vary as to the usage and the relation of the audience to them. First, we have the thrust stage. It is a stage surrounded by audience on three sides. The fourth side serves as the background. So the thrust stage is is a type of theater where the stage extends into the audience and has three sides, as you can see, one, two, three, and the fourth one is the background or the stage itself. So it provides a sense of closeness to the audience and allows a for the performance to have a creative staging. Now we have the end stage, a thrust stage extended wall to wall, like a thrust stage with audience on just one side, the front. So the backstage is behind the background wall. So the end stage is also known as the proscenium arc and is a traditional stage. So this one is located at one end of the auditorium. So the stage is separated from the audience by a proscenium arc, and the audience views the performance from a certain fixed position. Okay, now we have the arena theater. It is a central stage surrounded by audience on all sides. The stage area is often raised to improve the sight lines. So arena theater is also known as the theater in the round. It's a type of theater where the stage is surrounded by the audience on all sides. Like when we watch boxing match, right? So the ring is at the center for, so all of the audience can watch perfectly. So this type of stage is often raised or lower to provide a better viewing. So sometimes it's like there are parts where the other seats are at the top, and it goes down, something like that. Then we have the proscenium stage. So it is the most common type of stage, also called a picture frame stage. Its primary feature is a large opening, the proscenium arc, through which the audience views the performance. So the proscenium stage is a stage that is bounded by a proscenium arc arc that separates the stage from the audience. So it is often decorated with scenery in which the audience views through the proscenium arc. Okay. Next, we have the flexible theater, and this type of stage is sometimes called a black box theater because these stages are often big empty boxes painted black inside. So the stage and seating are definitely not most of the time not fixed or sometimes not fixed. So it is the reason. So flexible theater is a simple open space with minimal fixed seating. So as you can see in the picture, it has a really big space, but not much for the audience. Next, we have the profile theater, which is often used in found space theaters made by converted from other spaces. The audience is often placed on risers to either side of the playing space with little or no audience on neither end of the stage. So, profile theater is positioned at a certain angle and is often triangular or trapezoidal in shape. So we usually see this in like this stage in basketball court, mga ganun type of court. Like there are only two sides, something. So next we have the sports arena. So it is a sports arena, so it is often served as venues for music concerts. In form, they resemble very large arena stage but with a rectangular floor pan. Okay, so sports arena is may either be indoor or it can also be an outdoor venue, and it is designed for hosting sports events, concerts, and other performance. So it's typically a large open space with ano to, with open space with a sitting tail, like it has this kind of. So it's a open space, I mean, with a trend sitting state of the art sound and lighting system. Number four, number four, keep the scenery low for better visibility. In the theater stage or the arena stage, this stage is located in the center of the audience, with the audience members facing it from all sides. The audience is placed close to the action, which provides a feeling of intimacy and involvement. So, in theater, scenery refers to the physical and visual elements in which creates the setting for a performance. So this scenery includes the backdrop, the props, the lighting, the SFX, the projections, and etc. So excuse me. Lowering the scenery does not mean lowering the production of your performance. So it should be used in moderate, like the sizes and everything. Because if the scenery is too high, there are tendencies for the audience to be obstructed by the view and may get distracted. Okay. Now, number five. Let's go to number five. For greater intimacy with the audience, go with the thrust stage. Thrust stage is one that extends into the audience on three sides and is connected to the backstage area by its upstage end. So, using a thrust stage is best suited, in doing a theater play. In terms for the performers, they can freely interact with the audience from multiple angles because it allows the audience to have an immersive experience as they feel more more connected to the performance and actors emotionally, maybe. We have number 6, keep your theater flexible. Flexible stage theaters are those that do not establish a fixed relationship between the stage and the house. They can be put into any of the standard theater forms or any of the variation of those. So usually there is no physical distinction between the stage and the auditorium, and the audience is either standing or like intermingling with the performance or sitting on the main floor. So this somehow reminds me of Korean concerts, because most of the time Korean fans are standing, since obviously there are no seats in the concert venue area. But it doesn't. But in theater, it does not usually uh, happen outside. So, and most of the time they have seats, because um, theater plays tend to be long. Next, we have the sound quality is as important as visibility. Although theater performances are a visual medium, poor sound quality will ruin even the better plays. Sound is an area often overlooked, but just as you need good sight lines, you also need good sound lines. It is imperative that the auditoria are designed with the following. Okay, so in mind. So we have the external sound insulation, the internal sound insulation, services and equipment noise control, as well as the acoustics. So this is very important, and you and mic should never have problems, as it is the only way for the actors' deliveries to be properly heard by the audience. So once it errors, the audience might lose their interest, since they lost some part of the play, or worse, they didn't understand the plot and message the actors want to convey, simply because of that small problem. Okay, lastly, we have the set design. It is a visual representation of the world within the performance. Oh my god, so many cars. Our sets are more than backdrops. They're interactive environments that resonate with the storyline and themes. So, material and textures uh, pay like homage to the script setting, while the scale and complexity of the set pieces differs to match the production's ambition and budget. So every architectural elements and props is chosen to enhance storytelling, to ensure that the physical space become an integral part of the narrative. Okay, so we have importance of the theater space and design. Number 1, enhancing the audience experience and creating a memorable atmosphere. So number 1, um, enhancing the audience experience. So an effective design helps to transport the audience into the world of play and help them focus on the performance. So it will ensure that the dialogues, the music, the effects, and everything that you have designed and planned are heard as intended. And then we have creating a memorable atmosphere. So the atmosphere within a theater can set the tone of the story before the curtain even rises. So we develop the power of design to create spaces that epitomize the magic of the performing arts. So the design of the stages and the theater space is like a silent character, no, that enhance the narrative, steers the emotions of the audience, and leaves an endearing mark to the audience. So that is all for the theater space and design. Thank you for listening.